Aaron Whitlow,
Brandon Spivey.
and we are the Markout Movie Podcasters. And on today's episode, we're going to be discussing uh, Ant Man. I didn't do a. I guess I wasn't ready because I didn't do a little thing as far as what we're watching. We're watching Ant Man. Well, we're talking about Ant Man rather. Um, but yeah, Brandon, how was your week so far?
It was it was okay. I mean, there's a lot of new changes, new rules over here. I'm glad I'm still here. Thought maybe there was gonna be some shooting about 30
Oh,
minutes ago. Yeah, two people got into it, and it sounded really bad. And they're like my next door neighbors, so I'm just glad it didn't resort to violence because it sounded like it was going to. So, and Aaron just left. But other than that, my week's been pretty good. Um, okay, I don't really know what to say here, but because I can't do what we watched until he comes back, and it's just me right now. But if you're listening or watching, how was your weekend, guys? I will. There comes Aaron. He's coming right back.
I have no idea what happened. I was trying to.
I'm worried about this one.
Yeah, so there was a shooting possibly.
Here, but you know, because I can't do what we watched. Oh boy, I gotta get off of that. Oh boy, oh boy.
So there was a shooting. What's going on in your world over there, Brandon?
Oh boy. Well, I don't know really. I mean, I'm not a nosy neighbor, so I just heard it, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of close." And I kind of just glanced over like that, and I saw people.
Unlock the door. Open the
Oh
door.
no! Oh, unlock the door.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just kind of glanced, and I
The
just
bottom. The bottom. There you go. Come in. But yeah.
we have a comment.
Oh, we do.
Yep.
Let's see. Michael W. Kelly says, hey, Michael W. Kelly." Anyway, um,
Hello.
so let's go ahead and get into what we watched.
Yeah, I couldn't do that because you weren't here, so I was like,
I'm glad you waited.
I waited.
All right. So I watched Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I watched it last Saturday, I want to say.
Yeah, you watched that
Um,
movie.
yeah, I watched it after you. There wasn't many people in the theater when I watched it, but
Really?
it was no, it wasn't really sold out or anything. We got to sit right where the rails are.
Mm-hmm.
We was in Auditorium 7 here in Bowling Green to 12, so we was in Theater 7. Good where we put our feet on the rails and uh, I, so Sonic 2. So all right, my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate it. I thought it was Jim. First of all, let me say Jim Carrey stole every single scene he was in. It's absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion. Uh, but and then I did like Knuckles. Wasn't really big on Tails. He was cute and all, but wasn't really a huge fan of Tails. Um, that's my thoughts. I thought it was a good movie though. So
Nobody,
yeah.
nobody get hurt. Hurt. I don't know what I don't. I'm reading a comment from Michael
Oh,
W.
is there? Oh, there's more comments. Okay, I
Yeah.
should keep it on comments. 'Cause I can't see it. Nobody move. Nobody get hurt. Hurt. Oh, so this must be uh Fuzz Aldrin. That's his new. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Fuzz. Hey, I assume that's who this is. But oh, let me start pressing the screen. So, Brandon, what were your thoughts on Sonic 2?
Sonic 2. Oh, I thought it was a lot of fun, but I do disagree with you about Jim. For me, anyway, I don't know
Ooh,
what it is about Jim. When he does a sequel, I feel like he's trying to be the character he was in the first movie. For some reason, I don't know. It just felt
forced.
over the top. And usually he's over the top and it's fine, but I don't know. I mean, like it reminds me of like Ace Ventura. The first one I loved. The second one, it's his performance. It's all right. I mean, but I love Sonic. I love Tails, and I love Knuckles. I mean, I love when they were on the screen together. I was happy. So
Oh,
I mean,
Idris was great.
yeah. I mean, and I don't know who played Tails, but I thought they did a
Uh,
great job.
it was the same
From
person
what I
that played
remember,
Tails in
game.
the cartoon or
Yeah,
in the video game. Same person, same voice actor,
well,
actress rather.
that's neat. So I mean, I had fun with it. I didn't like it as much as the first movie though. I thought the first one
Hmm.
did a great job, but I thought it was a solid sequel, solid follow up. I'm looking forward to the next one because the mid credit reveal who we're getting, and I feel like this franchise could possibly go to 5 or 6 movies. I mean, it's crazy to say that from a video game adaptation, but I believe it. It's got a following now. You know, more people came this time around to see it. So I mean,
Jim Carrey does the flaws. Yes, that was kind of
yeah, that is,
very. I kind of cringed at that because, but I kind of played it off in a sense of Jim Carrey has not been in this world since like the first movie. So so of course that's what he remembers was flossing
but I
because
got a
Sonic
question
did in
for
the
you,
first one.
and
Mhm.
maybe it's just me. If it is, it is. But do you think he's trying too hard to be Jim Carrey? I know it's a weird question, but
Right.
that's
Like
what I
people, like meaning people know what to expect from Jim Carrey, and he's doing the Jim Carrey shtick. Is that what you mean?
think he's trying too hard.
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess you could feel that way.
That's kind of
Um,
how I felt. Like he was trying too hard to be him. You know, his personality, his persona, and
mhm.
what we used to see in him. I don't know. That's kind of how I felt. I just like, and I didn't hate him or nothing. I just felt like there was a interview like when he was talking about Ace Ventura, the reason he wouldn't do it now because he's not that person anymore. So it felt like he was trying too hard to be who he used to be.
Also, I want to bring this up. Not it's not in regards to the movie. It's something totally different. But just remind me before we get into our actual review of Ant-Man to say what I was going to say, if you can. But as far as this film, I thought that James Marsden was good for what he was in it for. I never like some people don't like the human characters. I think the human characters have flesh out the rest of the characters. Um, and Knuckles, like I said, was a standout as far as like of the
Oh
new characters for me.
yeah, it
Uh,
was.
he, I love how literal he sees everything. He's kind of like it reminded me of Drax, yeah, Drax.
You talking about from
It's what,
Guardians?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
How
Drax.
how literal he is,
Yeah.
and so I liked that approach, and he actually felt like a threat to Sonic to me, um, especially like when he stopped him and like power punched him into the ground. I thought that was good, but that's the only movie I really saw
Uh,
this week. I know Brandon, you've seen a hoop of a lot of movies. I don't know if hoop is a word, but you've seen a lot more movies than I did.
I mean, I've seen some movies streaming, but as far as theatrical, I did see Father Stew yesterday, and I thought there was a great performance by Mark Wahlberg. I loved it. I didn't. I won't say I loved it, but I really enjoyed it. It was a emotional movie. Mel Gibson plays Mel Gibson. Um, Sonic 3. I want Robotnik's what? You want what?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want
I,
that.
I'm curious of you got to explain because I'm aloof. Who is Michael W. Kelly? Who are you trolling? I have no
Um,
idea.
wasn't he like the producer on Ally McBeal? Or is it no? It's a different kind of Kelly, isn't it?
I was thinking Machine Gun Kelly, but it's not. If it was MGK, and then there'd been like a play on him, but no.
But
Uh,
I actually think you may actually enjoy Father Stew, Aaron. I really do. I know you're not that big on Christian films, but this really isn't a Christian film. Like,
it makes it seem like I'm a Christian. I do love the Lord, but
yeah,
I just think that Christian productions are lacking. So yeah.
I really do think you would enjoy this one though. But the other movie I saw the new Fantastic Beast movie.
Okay.
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, but I do feel that it was missing Johnny Depp. I don't like. To me, it was like watching Hannibal Lecter in a fantasy movie. When I see him,
So
that's what I see. I see Hannibal Lecter.
but clearly, right now, Johnny Depp is dealing with literal poo in his life
Yes, he
in
is.
the form of his wife in his bed while he's asleep. Uh, yeah, it's very R. Kelly of her. But anyway, uh,
But yeah, I mean,
too soon.
I'm not a big fan of the Harry Potter universe. It does. Well, I don't know if it has as much as that, but it had more than I was expecting
Oh,
for
really? I didn't
the type
know
of
that.
film it was. Yeah, it's
Okay.
not your traditional Christian film. Like it's like it takes this sinner and he transforms him into a Christian. You
Hmm.
know who does like to
Now,
curse a lot. But Mel
now, I do
Gibson
want to
did it
see.
playing a drunk, so he plays himself.
I do want to see Bad Guys. The Bad Guys. I hadn't seen that. Maybe. Oh, maybe get to see it this weekend. Who knows? Um, with the grandkid. But
Be a good film.
the next one I'm looking for is obviously Doctor Strange. So that's the next big one I'm waiting to
No
see.
Nick, no Nick Cage.
I don't know, man. I can
Oh
only
man,
do so many strange movies at a time, and just seeing sausage fingers, hot dog fingers was my quota of strangeness. So I don't know if I can take Nick right now. I don't know. I had to see. Uh, he says, "Fantastic Beast: Secrets of Dumbledore doesn't make sense. I couldn't tell you what as the plot of the movie. What is the plot of the movie? I guess is what he's saying. Uh, your thoughts? Because you saw it, so
yeah, I saw it yesterday. Like basically the plot of the movie is really well. He makes up a good point. um, like I forget what they're actually called. But like the Grindelwald, that's his name. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's like he's kind of like becoming a politician. He's he's up. He's not up for mayor or anything. It's one of their I forget what they called, but he's kind of like he's trying to take over the world. He's trying to destroy the world, and Dumbledore can't fight him because of their blood oath. They were
hmm.
lovers, and they made a pact. They wouldn't fight. Yeah, he's gay. That's the secret. But you found it out in the Harry Potter movies, so it wasn't a secret
Oh
to
well,
me
I've
at
never
least.
seen the Harry Potter movies
Oh,
other than like the
I
first
just
three.
spoiled it.
So
So
thank you, Brandon.
you're welcome. It's what I do.
That's your shirt. It's spoilers. That's what I do.
But I can understand Michael W. Kelly's reasoning that he just didn't understand because it's convoluted. I mean, it really is. I mean, I really wasn't paying attention to the plot. I was paying attention more to the magic. But 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 Dumbledore's trying to come up with a reason to fight back.
Mhm.
Really, he's trying to come up with a way to fight back. It is kind of all over the place plot wise. So I don't know if you would like it. I mean, I did, but
Right.
I liked it better than the first two. I just didn't like Max, whatever his name is, Hannibal.
Okay.
I didn't like him as Grindelwald as much.
Well,
So that's all.
um,
All really. I mean, other than what I've been watching on Apple.
all right. No standouts then.
On Apple, no standouts.
All
Well,
right.
actually,
Well,
take it back. The Banker, Sam Jackson, Anthony Mackie was a standout. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, we got a new subscriber to the YouTube channel. My cousin Natasha. So that's pretty awesome. Um, before we get into our Ant-Man discussion, I do want to mention that for the first time in the history of this podcast on Anchor, this will be live on, well, it's like people that usually just listen to us on Anchor will actually be able to see this podcast on Anchor. So they have updated Anchor where now you can have videos, and so this will be posted on Anchor, and then our audio will still be cast to like Spotify and all the other outlets that it goes to. So our audio, if you listen to our audio, thank you. But for those that want to see video through the Anchor app, well, you get your chance now. So you'll be able to see what we look like.
Oh
Uh,
no.
which might turn you away from us, might make you leave us. So sorry, Brandon. Um,
Yeah,
but
it's all my fault. It really is.
yeah, but nevertheless, we're gonna go ahead and jump into 2015's movie. Ant Man, starring Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, and my computer's froze, so I can't tell you the rest of the cast. Um, that one girl. And the guy, Ludacris, not Ludacris. T.I.'s in it. I confused my rappers.
Don't forget Michael
Um,
Pena. I think that's how you pronounce his last name, Pena.
is it the Hispanic dude?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of where I knew him from. Like I've seen him in something.
Oh man, he's done
He
a lot.
was.
He was in World Trade Center with Nick Cage.
Yeah, I remember him in that movie. Also, Anthony Mackie
Good
pops up.
Ship movie.
Uh,
That's probably not.
let's see. I'm trying to find. Yeah, okay, Michael. Like I thought it. You know who I confuse him with all the time,
Who?
and this is probably racist on my part. I confuse him with the guy who played Little Joker on Friday after next Friday. I mean, it's not him. Not the
Yeah,
same guy.
haven't
But
seen it. So
you never seen Next Friday? Have you seen any other Friday movies?
this Friday.
Oh, okay. That's okay. He's in American Hustle as well. Crash. I knew him in Crash. In Watch. Shooter. Uh, Fantasy Island, which I never saw. Fantasy Island. Um,
Yeah, he's in Fantasy
yeah,
Island.
The Martian, which I never saw that film either. The Vacation, um, which I like Vacation. I'm weird like that though. Do you need money?
I mean, if you're offering, yeah.
but but yeah, this movie's about Ant Man. Michael Douglas recruits a thief essentially to perform a heist, and then this heist is to steal um, technology and destroy technology that could potentially fall into the wrong hands, being Hydra, and uh, destroy the world. So Paul Rudd is this man who went from fighting Michael Myers to now fighting Hydra in some way, shape, and form.
that's that's uh, that's that's something there. Went from literally fighting Michael Myers to becoming Ant-Man. But
There you go.
looking back through all these movies, I forgot that Hydra had such an impact on these films. I guess I glossed over it when I was actually watching live.
Bobby Carnival. I don't know. I missed that reference there, Michael. Pena was in Moonfall. Who was he in Moonfall? I don't even remember him in that movie. That movie is such a bad film, so I literally have
I think
forgotten
he's one
everything
of
about
the
that film.
guys that was working. I don't know. I think I vaguely remember him, but like he wasn't funny. Like I think he was more of he was more of a dramatic character in
Oh,
that movie.
I thought you were saying that he's meant to be funny, but he just wasn't
No,
funny.
I think he was meant to be dramatic, which is weird because he's hilarious. I, it's weird that he's done so many dramatic roles because he is freaking hilarious.
Yeah. So let's jump into it. Well, give me
Oh, the
the
numbs, the
the
numbs.
numbs. Yeah, give me with the numbs.
Okay, the numbers are it got 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb. 3.3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Way to show up, Letterboxd.
Oh,
88%
real quick,
on Google. It's got an
Michael's
83.
referring to Bobby Cannavale, who played Paxton in the movie. Okay, all right, I got you. Go ahead, continue.
I mean, it's got an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes with an 85% audience score. So it is certified fresh.
So, Bobby Cannavale, he's like, you know how you sometimes you have actors that look like other actors. Well,
Oh, I do know.
his voice is reminds me of the dude that played Raymond's brother's voice. Oh, Everybody Loves Raymond. Uh, he reminds me of it. So when I see him, I think that guy, but it's not that guy, obviously. But yeah, Bobby was. I don't know. He was pretty throwaway to me. He was. I'm not really a big. He really didn't stand out to me. Now, I do want to mention. I like seeing Wood Harris in it. So um, I think it's his last name. I might be saying his name wrong, and I apologize if I am. He played his partner. Um, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the guy from Creed.
Yeah,
That's what I
absolutely.
know him from. I know him from Creed, but
Uh, I,
I've seen him in other things too. But
I know him mainly from Above the Rim. He was excellent in that movie. He played like Tupac's henchman, like number one henchman.
uh,
Uh, have you ever seen Above the Rim?
yeah, it's with Leon.
Yeah, is exactly right. Yeah. Uh, and he's also the brother of, although he's not pop. There he is, Wood Harris. I know I said it right. Um, he's also the brother of, I think Courtney Vance. No, no, not Courtney Vance. His brother is another actor. I forget his name though, but he is. Have you ever seen a Diary of a Mad Black Woman? The Medea movie?
Perhaps was it early or one of the
Yeah,
earlier films?
it's like the first Medea
Yeah, I've seen it.
theatrical film.
Yeah, I've seen
Uh,
it.
he's the guy that was the butthole husband that got shot, and she like tortured him towards the end. That's his brother.
Uh,
Uh, yeah. But yeah, it was really cool. I always like seeing him pop up in movies. Um, he's one of those actors that I'm glad to see, still get work, and especially with Creed. We know that he still is getting work. So yeah.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, Ant-Man, Brandon, what was some of your thoughts on the movie?
Uh, well, I think I mean, I shouldn't talk about that this soon, but I thought the villain was highly misused. Um, he just didn't get enough time to,
Mhm.
and some of the things he does towards the end of the movie just didn't make sense to me. But he's a good actor, and I remember thinking when I first watched it, he didn't get enough screen time. It didn't hurt the movie by not getting enough screen time, but I felt he should have got more. But I love, you know, Michael Douglas in this film. I'm not the biggest Michael Douglas fan. I like some of his work, but like Basic Instinct,
Yeah, I was
Rain
about to
Man.
ask you what did you like?
What I
He wasn't
like,
in Rain Man. He wasn't in Rain Man.
I'm not Rain Man, but
That's Dustin Hoffman.
I'm not talking about that movie. Black Rain.
Okay, I was like, what?
It has rain in the title. What? I mean, I liked his character. I mean, I thought he brought a lot. Like losing his wife, and his reasoning for getting Stephen Lang. Was it Stephen Lang? Is that his name? Is it Lang?
Yeah. Oh,
Uh, not letting his daughter. I thought it had a lot of family dynamics in this, and I loved how he brought that out. And I don't know. I just really loved his character, which his character is who I know from Ant-Man. Like I didn't really know Lang all that well in the comics. I knew Hank, so I was excited to see Hank. And while watching it, I was like, man, I would love if they could CGI him for a whole movie playing Hank as Ant-Man, like in the
mhm.
past. I would have loved that. But I don't know. The daughter was good too. But I don't know. How you feel about her? Did you like her in the movie or?
Uh, yeah. Give me a moment. Let's not do that because. All right. Hey, I lost my earbuds,
Oh,
but I can still hear you though. I just had to take out my earbuds. But yeah, his daughter. I thought that she was okay. You know, it's clearly that they're setting up like the love interest thing between the two. Which
yeah.
I'm glad they didn't really force it. Let's
It
see.
felt forced by the end. The end scene, it felt for. I thought it felt forced. I
All right,
didn't see a
Ant-Man
love story.
fired the original director because of artistic differences. Who was the original director? Could you
Peyton
tell us?
Reed,
Peyton Reed. Okay.
I believe. I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Or maybe he's
Um,
the director they ended up with. I'm not 100% sure. But, but yeah, I thought that love story, I didn't see it coming throughout the whole movie. I was like, they're constantly bickering. I mean, I guess that's part of it. That's people that bicker have feelings for each other, I suppose. I don't know. But I don't know. I just felt that was forced. But I did like that she wanted to get in a suit, and Michael Douglas wouldn't
yeah.
let her. He wouldn't let her. I like that because that's he's trying to protect his daughter. I love the dynamics there, but rest of the movie for her, I agree with you. I thought she was okay. Paul Rudd, on the other hand, I think he's amazing as Ant-Man. There's no one that could play Lang better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Yeah. So he literally felt like he was meant to play that character.
Yeah.
And the way that he plays it like an aloof, and you kind of feel it like he develops a relationship or friendship rather with Anthony, as he called him, the ant, with the winged ant, which I wasn't even aware that ants flew. So there you go. Thank you for teaching me something, Marvel. All right, yeah. Let's see. Edgar Wright, the Baby Driver director, calls leaving the Marvel project heartbreaking. Huh. Um,
Yeah, he was one of the writers. Yeah, he may have been he may have been the original director. I don't know. But I didn't know he left the project. I
hmm.
know he wrote this. He was one of the writers. He's an excellent filmmaker as well. Baby Driver was awesome. I mean, have you seen it?
Yeah, I love that. I love Baby Driver. I thought it was excellent. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What's some of the things that didn't work for you so much in the film?
Uh, I I think the villain's reasoning, like the backstory with him and Hank, that needed to be explored more, in my opinion. I don't know. I felt like that could have been a whole movie there. Whenever that happened, like I don't know. The villain just didn't really work for me.
Right.
Really, I mean, not for the limited time he was on there. He just, I don't know. It just didn't feel right. Um,
Do we have any comments on Facebook, by the way?
what now?
Do we have any comments on Facebook, by the way?
Let me look.
Uh,
It wasn't
but
popping up earlier.
but I will say to build on what you were saying. I thought that the motivation behind the villain, yeah, was a little vague. Yeah, but it seemed like or something. You don't know how to mute it when you look at it, do you? Vague. Yeah.
No, I don't. But no comment.
Okay. Okay, you don't worry about looking no more because that's terrible. You can go ahead and cut that off.
But no comment.
Okay, you don't worry about looking no more. Brendan, exit out of the Facebook.
Okay, I got it.
All right, jeez. Oh, bruh. Anyway, that was hilarious. Um, so uh,
Yep.
I felt like the villain was looking at Michael Douglas as more like a father figure, and
Yeah.
he wanted his respect and love, and he wanted his what's the word I'm looking for? He wanted his approval. Yeah, he
Yeah.
wanted his approval, but he never got it, and so I felt like that his motivation might have been more, um, I want you to be my father. You need to hear me.
Mhm.
Like I've been doing all this to, I've been like, because he said many times, hey, I wanted to work with you. We could have done this together. And so I don't think I don't think his motivation at first was to just be overly evil, but I think that because Michael Douglas's character lacked showing compassion even to his own daughter, when because he didn't know how to handle, and this is that's a deeper theme in this film, that he didn't know how to, neither his daughter nor himself knew how to really handle the grief of losing his wife and her mom, and so they didn't know how to, then with that key character taken from their life, they didn't know how to navigate each other, and
Yeah.
so he lacked that maternal love. All he knew how to do was be the father and the scientist and the worker. And so she never got that love that she wanted. So she went maybe a different route in her life to try to say, I am strong enough to do this. I can do this. I am, and try to maybe mimic the strength of her mother. Whereas with the villain, I don't know his name. I'm just going to call him the villain. Uh,
Just call
with
him Yellow
him, Yellow Jacket. But with him, with Yellow Jacket, I think that he ultimately wanted his approval, but he thought that to get his approval, he has to be cutthroat. Maybe, and that's what to him, Michael Douglas's character, Hank Pym, uh, maybe displayed to him. So that's what he thought that was probably his love language. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with all that. I just think they could have done a better job with the villain, Yellow Jacket. But for I do agree that that was his reasoning, and he just went insane at the end. But
Well, they said that a lot of the, like, every time the particles that he kept using kept in, affecting his psyche and
yeah,
making him going more and more insane. Which at the end he looked like a threatening badass. You know, he's kind of standing in this kid's room, like pretty much threatening this kid. Um,
I know it was it was
oh,
something.
the end fight scene. We'll bridge to it. What did you think about? Did you get back, not Back to the Future, but did you get Honey I Shrunk the Kid
I
vibes
definitely got Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
when he initially shrunk down and was in
Yeah,
the tub? Okay.
yeah, I felt that. Anytime he would shrink, I would, man, it took me back to Honey I Shrunk the Kids. And kind of would have wished they would have got Rick Moranis just to pop up, in a certain scene. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. But I thought, it was very much like Honey I Shrunk the Kids in the early beginning when he would shrink, because he was clueless to what was going on, and when the water was coming in the tub, it was great. It reminded me a lot of the third Honey I Shrunk the Kids with the cereal, but I don't know, I really like the ants in this movie. They had they had they felt like a character. I mean, they were not just a prop. They felt like there was a real bonding moment with them, and especially by the end. But I don't know. It was you know, it, when this movie was announced, it was hard in concept to see this actually working. It was
Mhm.
kind of a risk like Guardians was, and I think it paid off for him. Maybe not. It didn't do numbers like Guardians, but it did enough, and it definitely has a following now. When we think of Paul Rudd, we do think Ant Man now. So I mean, how can you not?
Yeah. So prior to this film, when you think Paul Rudd, did you think Clueless or did you think Halloween Six, or did you think something totally different that I might not be
Uh,
thinking of?
Probably Halloween 6. Maybe role models, but
What was that one movie? Well, what was that one show? Like he was, Friends. I think he was Phoebe's
yeah,
husband,
he was
right?
Phoebe's boyfriend. But I hadn't even seen Friends at that point, so I didn't grab onto that. A lot of people probably did, but I didn't. But yeah, I
I
mean,
I initially thought Clueless, and I think being a Halloween fan, I immediately always go Halloween, even though Six is. not good, but it's better than some. In my opinion, I know we differ, but
I mean, if you're
although
talking
you
about
probably
the
say,
original films, I it's probably my least favorite, but I still think it's better than Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So
but it's not. At least Kale's got that is over that one for you, right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, thank you. I just want Kills to be somewhere in your book, somewhere a little higher. Okay,
yeah.
but
Kills isn't like I don't think it's the worst Halloween film. I don't even think it's in the top three worst films. It's just all the killing. It just felt like there was no story, and that's what I was hoping for because Halloween 2018 had a massive story. So
if those just tuning in right now, he's talking about Halloween Kills, not Ant-Man. So there's no
I
killing
was
in
asked a
Halloween.
question about it though. So that's the only reason.
Yeah, yeah, that's why. That's why. But all right. So let's talk about Paul Rudd's gang, his crew in this film. It consists of the guy that ends up playing the Polka Dot Man eventually in Suicide Squad. That's the same guy, right?
Same guy,
Yeah.
and I don't think he's
Then,
returning for the third one.
oh, really? Okay. Then Ti's in it. It's not his first. It's not his film debut. He was also in like Row Bounce or whatever the hell that ATL. He's an ATL. It has the same type of concept, but he's an ATL. And then we have that Michael Pena. Is
Yep.
this right? He's in it. And then am I missing a crew member? Is that it?
It's just them three with Paul Rudd.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think about Michael's whole need to tell the whole story
I
with
love it.
things and the way they did it? So what do you
I
think of
love it.
that?
I love that he's so literal with everything. Like I just love it. And then Paul Rudd's like, those those details don't matter. Get to the details that matter. I loved it though. I loved it. I also loved when he's like, "Don't get scared," Daddy, don't get scared. Just,
Yeah.
I love that scene. And then of course he's on his shoulder and he's freaking out, and it's like I loved it. He stole the show of the three for me. Not just the way he would tell stories, just everything about him, man. It was awesome to see.
Yeah. And as you said, it's great because and that shows his range as an actor, how
Yeah,
he's able to play like you said, very serious films like with Jake Gyllenhaal and everything. He played in movies where he's like super serious,
yeah,
and to go and play this character that it's comedic. So it's funny because of Ant-Man and him being in Ant-Man, when I saw the trailer, I didn't see the movie. I know you saw the movie, but when I seen the trailer to Fantasy Island, I thought I thought if it's going comedic, that's good casting. I never even thought in my mind of seriousness because now I associate him with being funny and
yeah,
not so much being serious. So and that's maybe kudos to him as like I said, as an actor.
yeah. He's very well rounded. I mean, he's very diverse when it comes to acting. I mean, he pretty much can pull off anything, and I liked him in Fantasy Island. I would say the one film I did not like him in was probably Chips. I didn't like that movie, period, though. So I
I don't
mean,
think I like Chips either. I think I didn't finish it. That's what Dax Shepard, right?
yeah, they did. They went Dukes of Hazard with it. Taking a kind of
Me,
a wholesome
me,
show and you trying to make it a little X rated. And
well, and speaking of Dukes of Hazard, the movie went Dukes of Hazard with, in the sense of, is that what you're referring to? Because they
yeah,
took
the
Dukes of
movie.
Hazard and made like with Johnny Knoxville and
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah,
whatever
Sean William
Williams.
Scott.
Yeah, Sean William Scott. I knew he had three names, uh, but yeah, yeah. Which that movie, I don't know. I don't remember if I liked that film. I
I mean,
don't. I don't think I did.
I didn't hate it, but I had seen Dukes of Hazard the show enough to know it was nothing like the show. So
That was at the same time frame when they would do those type of films and make a lot like they remade the Mod Squad, something with Snoop Dogg in it. I forgot what it was. And like
I don't
maybe I
remember.
was just I don't know. They made like and then the 18. They remade
Starsky and
those.
Hutch with Owen
Yeah, stars. Yeah,
and
that's
Snoop.
what Starsky and Hutch with Snoop. Snoop was in it. But yeah, I forgot that. I forgot that they. I forgot. Literally, I forgot that movie existed. But yeah. But nevertheless, back to this film. We spoke on previous episodes about Hollywood royalty making the transition into comic book films. And in this one, we got Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Uh, do you feel like Michael? Do you feel Michael portrayed Hank Pym like terrifically as far as like uh,
From what I know of the
for,
character, he did, because the character's not very nice. He was the couple comics I read, he was like a woman beater. So they couldn't do that. But
if you
and
want
they
to like the character? No, you can't
you
do
don't
that.
want to hate on him. And I remember reading that, and it's like, whoa, is that going to be in the movie? I can't imagine Marvel would do that. So I think he played it well. But I also feel that Michael Douglas needed this movie because he hadn't really been all that relevant uh in, like, I don't know, since the mid 2000s. Like, I don't think he's made anything that a lot of people were talking about or going to watch. Like, I know he did a Wall Street sequel, but I think that flopped too. So I think he really needed Marvel, and Ant-Man. I think he needed it. So I mean, I'm
I
glad he
love.
did.
I do like seeing though serious big actors that
Yeah.
typically won't be in a Marvel type of movie starting to show up in these films. Like the ones that we haven't got yet is Brad Pitt. Obviously, we haven't got him popping up. I don't think. I might be wrong. I don't think we have.
No.
But like Brad and George,
Or
Julia,
DiCaprio.
we have, or DiCaprio. We haven't gotten those. We haven't gotten Denzel, but it'd be awesome to have Denzel pop up in a Marvel movie. I think he'd be really, really great.
The
But
people you just mentioned, Denzel, from what I've heard, would be interested, like in an older character, not someone that's going to lead its own movie. But I don't think the others. I think Brad Pitt and DiCaprio and George. I don't want to say they're Hollywood snobs, but I feel they are Hollywood snobs. I feel that they probably still think comic book films are underneath them. Just their work they do. Maybe not George. You talking about Clooney, right?
well, yeah. Well, if you think about it, though, also it kind of builds off of that because you did have the other side of things where some of these actors, like say Johnny Depp, might not go Marvel way, but went to Disney way with
Yeah,
like Pirates, and that kind of re- made a resurgence for his career at that point.
yeah,
It
yeah.
when
Totally.
obviously he overdid it with Tim Burton, but in my humble opinion, I think he overdid it with Tim Burton films. But like Tim Burton to me has fallen off so bad, but that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, I think that it'd be kind of cool to see like a Denzel or something like that. But I know that like we got even Matt Damon that popped up. Obviously, we'll see him later.
Yeah,
But yeah, I like that we're seeing these people that
yeah,
you never would have thought in a million years would do a Marvel film.
yeah. I mean, if say like if DiCaprio does it, I think anyone would, because no one
He's
comes
like,
off like a bigger snob when it comes to Hollywood than DiCaprio. Like, he's very choosy with his. I shouldn't say snob, but he just kind of comes off like one. Like, he won't just do anything.
I'm trying to sit here thinking, was his last big film Revenant? Like I hadn't like has he done anything since Revenant? The
He did
Revenant?
Wolf of Wall Street, I think. Well, I don't know if that was
I thought
after or before.
I think that predated Revenant
Um,
because he
yeah,
won
I
an
guess
Academy
Revenant
Award
would be
for
the last
Revenant.
one. Yeah, I think Revenant was his,
Oh
like, his
no
last.
no no no! Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, both of them they did
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Him and Brad, yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, and he was great in that, and he's great in everything. But it would be a huge deal if he did a Marvel or DC movie. I mean, it just would.
Well, let's bounce off of the actors and go to directors. Do you think that do you think that you'll see a Quentin Tarantino direct a Marvel film, or you think that
No,
like he can't
and I
be
have
as
one
free as
reason
he wants
for
to
it.
be?
Like, I have
Can't
one reason
cast him
why you'll never see Tarantino direct Marvel, because they won't allow him to use the language he likes to use.
because
And
ultimately it's a Disney movie, right?
yeah, that's right. And it's got to be PG-13, and I just don't see Tarantino ever making a PG-13 movie. I could be
Mm,
wrong. I don't think he's made one yet, but
I don't think so.
but like, I think you could see like a Spielberg eventually do probably a Marvel movie rather than DC. I even think Michael Bay, would probably do one eventually.
Mm.
But I don't think you ever see Martin Scorsese do one. But
Yeah, obviously not. And I wouldn't want to see that movie because I don't think I love Martin Scorsese, but I don't think he's in touch is as in touch with cinema today as like the Irishman was great, but it felt like an older movie. It's
yeah,
not gonna. I don't think you can see Martin Scorsese like do anything like James Gunn would do. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not.
he's not gonna do anything flashy like that. It's it's gonna be dark. And he was like one of the producers, or he was at the time it was being filmed, I believe, on Joker, and it felt like a Martin Scorsese picture. But he would do something like that, and I think that works better in the DC universe because they're more dark than
Mhm.
Marvel. But
Yeah,
I can't ever see him doing a Marvel movie though, especially with what he said about Marvel.
right. Um, let's go ahead and talk about the climactic stuff that happened. Oh, we can't bridge, we can't sweep over this. Uh, so uh, they send Ant Man to infiltrate what he thought was an abandoned warehouse. Turns
Mm-hmm.
out to be the Avengers headquarters. And the only one that we see that was there is Ant Man, not Ant Man, but Hawkeye. Not
Falcon.
Hawkeye. Shoot, Falcon. Jeez. Uh, Anthony Mackie, who actually subsequently now is Cap. So you got to see Ant Man versus Cap if you think about it. but but yeah, what was your thoughts on that whole little interaction between those two?
I loved it, but I was more happy for Paul Rudd than I would say Anthony Mackie, because for me, okay, Paul Rudd's made it. He's made it. He's top tier now. He's can't go down. Uh, and I was so happy for him because, I mean, because at that moment I had to think, man, this is a guy from the Halloween franchise. Even if it is one of the worst films in the franchise, it's a guy that made it to here to eventually going to be an Avengers movie. Nah, you can't let that down. I mean, you got to be proud of that, especially if you're a horror fan or Halloween fan. Man, one of
Mhm.
your guys made it to the top. So I
Yeah,
mean, that's how I looked at it,
absolutely.
and I was happy for Anthony Mackie too because he's not riding the coattails of Captain America, right? I mean, at this point, it's
Yeah,
his it's his own scene as well. So I was happy for him too, and I'm probably going to be ecstatic when I actually do finally see his show.
yeah.
But I
Uh,
was happy for both, but I was really ecstatic for Paul Rudd. I love the scene; it was funny, it was entertaining, and it, it gave me goosebumps for the future. You
yeah,
know,
absolutely. Love seeing them interact with one another. I thought that I agree with you to kind of bounce off what you just said. Yeah, I never thought about it that way. It's kind of like seeing people from movies or it's like working with people that we love. So obviously I'm a Halloween guy. So yeah, it's great seeing Paul go from what is known as one of the worst ones in the whole series
yeah.
to like being in like a Marvel cinematic film as a top billed person in
Hmm.
his own film. And then it's kind of like reminds me of like seeing like we talked about Kurt Russell last a couple weeks ago, where Kurt is a Carpenter guy. He's a John Carpenter guy, and he went from not saying anything wrong with that. He went from what is was initially critically panned as the worst Carpenter film of all time. Initially, The Thing to now, obviously, it is, in my opinion, the best John Carpenter film they ever made. Uh,
Yeah, I think
and
it's the best horror film ever made. But
yeah, but yeah, and
man,
so yeah, and it's absolutely terrifying because you don't know who is who until
hmm
until it's too late. But uh, he went from that and Big Trouble and stuff. He went from these type of films, and he had a great career with Tango and Cash and all these other films or whatever. But to have him step up to a game and play a character and and play it so confidently that you felt like he belongs here. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like the only thing I didn't mention this a couple weeks ago is the only thing I didn't like about that film is I didn't the them actually killing his character off was like because you want more
yeah. You want more. You want more.
you want more Russell you know
I think that goes with any of the decent villains you see in these films, and they kill him off. Oh man, you could have done so much more with him. And I never felt as much hate that I did when DC did it with Birds of Prey. He finally makes his
absolutely.
debut in a film, and you kill him off at the end. I was like, no, no. And McGregor was awesome in that movie, but uh, I
He was
hated
a
that. But
standout. He was a standout in that movie.
yes, he was, and
Yeah,
shouldn't have killed him off. Like he should have that him playing that character should have faced off with Batman. I mean, that would have been amazing to watch. But it is DC and it is Warner Brothers, and they screw up a lot. So, but I mean, that was one of my downsides to this movie as well with Yellow Jacket. I didn't feel they should have killed him off, especially when they didn't give him enough screen time. They should have built this for something more. But it is
you,
what it is, and
you never really felt actually with what you're saying. You never really felt Yellow Jacket really you never really see how destructive he really could be.
yeah.
You never really felt like the impact of who he was as like in that suit. The suit is pretty awesome, but you never really see like it'd be something if you see him being very destructive, like until like maybe he didn't know the house that it's dark, but maybe he didn't know the house exactly where his daughter lived, and so he decides to destroy each and every single house until he gets to that house. And you can just see how destructive he is,
Mm-hmm.
going through these homes like it's nothing. And then that makes you feel like, oh wow, but you don't really get that. Like with their fights, I love the I love I love the concept of like them fighting and going from shrinking to big, uh, and that one point where uh, Paul Rudd takes the ping pong
Oh yeah,
thing and smacks him into like the bug zapper and makes it look, you know,
yeah,
I love that. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like like you're right. They could have done a lot more with him.
yeah. They could have. And I thought while watching it, even the second time around watching it, I thought, well, the way it's been constructed, they're going to build something with this character. He's not going to die, even though I knew he was going to die. It just didn't feel that he was going to die. That they were building to something, and obviously you know how it ends. They ain't building to nothing.
So let's go ahead and jump into the end to that final scene. Yeah. So let's see. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Give me a moment. Bear with me. So let's jump into that final. Oh shoot. Uh, somebody's texted me, and I'm trying to respond to him. Uh, all right. Anyway, the final fight scene. So we have what is probably, honestly, in my opinion, Brandon, one of the best fight scenes in the ending of a Marvel film, because
All time or
of
just
the
the date?
of all time. I'll say that I like this fight scene, this ending fight scene, better than the crappy one from Iron Man 2. I felt the final fight scene in Iron Man 2 with War Machine and Iron Man wasn't as wasn't as good. I think that this fight scene, I loved the Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. I love that, that little ending dance off fight scene thing. I thought that's funny, but I thought that this one is better than that. Um, well, the best fight scene is probably going we're seeing Civil War with Iron Man and Captain America and uh, Winter
Winter
Soldier,
Soldier.
and they're just like doing their thing, like
Yeah, I think that's
the double thing.
probably one of the
It's like,
best. I mean, of all time.
but
I
I
do.
think this one, just to finish my thought, I think that this one was great as far as uh, how they were able to show how big and how like mighty things are going, but then they pull it back and you see this on like this little playset.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was so funny how they cut back and forth between like the big fight and then like how small it is in the scheme of everything. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. 100%. It was a. I do agree with you though. It is a really good fight scene, and I would say up to this point, it's it's not as destructive as like Age of Ultron's was. You know, on that scale, it's not as big, but just between Yellow Jacket and
I agree with you, Michael. I think there's a really great fight scene. The bus fight scene from Shang-Chi.
that was awesome. I
That
mean,
was that was it wasn't an ending fight scene, but just a fight scene within the scheme of a film. I thought that was great. I also like the scaffold scene. It reminded me a lot of Rush Hour 2, I think. Rush Hour 2 or whichever one they were in Japan
yeah,
or
like
China. I'm sorry to be racist. I don't know, one of those places. Uh, my bad.
I love that fight scene though. I love that movie for many reasons, and we'll get to it when we get to it. But as far as this one, I thought it was great. You know, you like you said, the scale when they cut back, it's a playset. They're fighting on a playset, really, and but when it comes between them two, it was a mano, man. It was awesome to see. Lang, who really is just a beginner as Ant-Man,
Mhm.
fight this guy. I mean, he's not a big bad villain, but he should have been heels head over heels with a big advantage over Lang. I mean, it should have been close. And I think that goes back to Lang's heart and who he's really fighting for. He's fighting for his daughter throughout the whole movie, and he's wanting to be the father she already thinks he is. I love that whole concept of the movie, and it kind of hits me, being a father and on a deeper level. But I do agree with you. I think it is one of the best fight scenes in the Marvel
Yeah.
Cinematic Universe.
It's gonna. I'm gonna pose a question if I can. I'm gonna try to make this recurring thing. I should have did it before. Uh, um, let's see. So the question is, and I'm going to pose this after or before we get yeah, before we give our marks. Um, let's see. I'm writing it right now. It's terrible writing with one finger, uh, and it's not picking up everything. I'll make it better next week. Um, forgive me. Yeah, let's see. If I misspell it, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Save. All right. So save. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and pose that question before we get to our scores. Best heroes, best villain thus far. Thus far. So um, think about everything we watched from Captain America, the first one to now. Uh, who Like
Like
and so
particular number here,
no,
or
yeah,
you want
not
to have
not
to be
you
the
don't
best?
the best
Okay.
period thus far. So every movie could change because we're going to be introducing new characters. So far, I'm going to go ahead and throw out here my thoughts for best hero so far with everything we've seen up to now, all the movies that we've seen up to now. I'm going to still say Captain America is the best hero. So far, in my opinion, best villain so far from the very beginning up to now. I'm going to say still at this present time I haven't met one yet that can beat Loki as a villain. In my opinion, that's in my opinion. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily look at Loki as a true villain, but he is one of the villains. Um, best hero, I absolutely agree with you. Even though Hulk is my favorite, as in the comic book world, Captain America, what Chris Evans established, to me just hasn't been topped. And I don't think that's just now. I think that's through it all. I just don't think it's been topped.
we ain't looking at from
I know. But I'm going up to now. He's just like when we get ready to watch a Captain America movie, I really get excited to go back and watch it because I love the portrayal that Chris has done, and I love the character in the MCU. His best villain, I mean, I'm trying to think real fast. I mean, I no one does stand out better than Loki. I mean, honestly, I can't think of one, that truly stands out that can. No, I'm not talking about defeat Loki. I'm just as a character
that's
has done
just
a job.
it's
Getting hit not only his message, his motivations, um, his wit. I mean, everything he does, everything Tom's done with Loki has just been perfection.
right.
Uh, and I just don't think anyone tops him. But I think we will. Or at least I think one of us will have a different opinion by Endgame.
I want Michael to also give me his thoughts on this if he's still watching. Um, so all right, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and get to our closing thoughts and our scores because we don't want to really go. We're at an hour 2 minutes. That's plenty long enough. Uh, So I think my score, if I was going to go, which I guess I am because I'm talking, uh, uh, I'm going to give it. I'm going to give this film. I'm just thinking of it. I'm going to give it 3.5 markouts out of 5. I liked it. I love Paul Rudd in it, and I love the sides and things going up and down or whatever. I thought that was excellent. Uh, but here's the scores. I knew he was gonna give it to me. Best hero, Iron Man. Okay. Best villain, Red Skull. Interesting. Okay. And that's your opinion, and I like your opinion. I can see where you can go because Red Skull he's like he's a straight up villain. Like he had no moral goodness about him. The reason, like his motivation was, I want to be the most powerful person and destroy the world. So yeah, um, but yeah. Uh, but yeah, I give it 3.5 markouts out of 5. I think Paul. I'm glad that we get Paul as Ant Man, and I love seeing him where he goes from here. Um, and that's the best thing that came out of this movie. Is the introduction to Paul. Honestly, I like the Wasp and all the other things is okay, but just getting him is he give us the key ingredient we need for like going forward. So you.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. I think Paul Rudd is the best part of the movie. His whole story, I think, is you know you. I'm trying to think of the word. You can relate to him. You know, his character. I can relate to him, no doubt. But I do agree with you, and I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I thought it hit on some deep levels when it needed to. I thought it was very entertaining, very funny when it needed to be, and when it needed to be serious. It was. It gave us layers to Paul Rudd's acting too, because he just wasn't funny. He had heart, and I really appreciated that, and I really liked the side characters. As I said, I really like Michael Douglas as Hank. So I love when they're working together. I love it. But yeah, 4 out of 5 for me. You know, it just had a disappointing direction with the villain. I thought it was only the major thing I had an issue with.
What we got next week?
Civil War.
Yes.
And as far
So
as after that, I've looked it up. It comes out. It comes up different. What's actually after Civil War? Some say it's Spider-Man. Some say it's Black Panther. Some said it was Black Widow. I think they all basically take place at the same time.
I'll say we could probably go Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Black Widow, and then go back from there.
Okay.
So that's what we'll do. All right, but yeah, I can't wait for Civil War, which is one of my favorite ones in the film series. Yeah, it was initially. Now it's no. I always say this: it's not as good as Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier is excellent, but it gives us so many great characters, and getting to see them interact together is just going to be so.
And the story
I'm gonna.
is emotional
Yeah,
on all
absolutely.
fronts. I mean, it's just emotional. I would say it's one of the better stories in the whole cinematic universe. The movie may not be as good as Winter Soldier, but its story is more emotional until
Yeah.
Endgame.
Yeah. But
But
it changes everything. But all right. Well, in the meantime, in between time, I'm Aaron Whitlow,
I'm Brandon Spivey.
and we are the Markout Movie Podcasters, and we thank you for marking out with us.